Have you ever watched someone try to save their family while secretly falling apart themselves? Because in Genoa City, that is exactly what is happening, and this time the heartbreak runs deeper than anyone expected. The week of May 4th through May 8th is set to bring emotional chaos, dangerous secrets, and life-changing decisions for some of the young and the restless biggest players. At the center of it all is Nick Newman, a man who has spent so much of his life trying to protect everyone else that he barely noticed he was losing himself. After everything that happened in Las Vegas, after the explosions, the fear, and the terrifying realization that Matt Clark was willing to destroy the entire Newman family, Nick returns to Genoa City carrying more than physical exhaustion. He returns carrying guilt, shame, and a secret that has already begun destroying him from the inside out. For weeks, his drug addiction has quietly taken control of his life. It started small, the way these things often do, a way to numb pain, a way to keep functioning, a way to silence the pressure that never seemed to stop. Nick told himself he had it under control, that he could quit whenever he wanted, that nobody needed to know, but addiction never works that way. Now the truth is impossible to ignore. Nick has reached the point where he cannot fix this alone, and for the first time he has to face the reality that he needs help, real help, professional help, the kind that requires surrender, honesty, and painful self-reflection. For Nick Newman, that may be the hardest battle of all. Coming home to Genoa City should feel like relief, but instead it feels like standing at the edge of a cliff. Every familiar face reminds him of the people he has disappointed. Every conversation feels like a chance for the truth to come crashing down. Still, there is one person who refuses to let him fight this alone. Sharon Newman sees the pain behind his silence almost immediately. She has known Nick too long, loved him too deeply in too many different ways to miss the signs. Even when he tries to brush it off, even when he insists he is fine, Sharon knows better. She sees the exhaustion in his eyes, the tension in his body, the quiet desperation he cannot fully hide. When the truth finally comes out, Sharon does not judge him. She does not turn away. Instead, she stands beside him. She reminds him that asking for help is not weakness, it is survival. Nick does not make the decision to enter treatment easily. Every part of him fights it. Pride tells him he should be stronger. Fear tells him he will fail. Shame whispers that everyone will see him differently. But Sharon keeps pulling him back to what matters. His future. His children. His family. His life. And eventually, Nick begins to understand that getting help is not losing control. It is the first real step toward getting it back. While Sharon becomes his anchor, the truth sends shockwaves through the rest of the Newman family. No one takes it harder than Nikki Newman's. When Nikki learns what her son has been hiding, the heartbreak hits like a storm she never saw coming. As someone who has battled addiction herself, Nikki understands the darkness in a way few people can. She knows the lies addiction tells. She knows how easy it is to pretend everything is fine while drowning inside. She knows the guilt that follows every bad choice and every broken promise. And because she knows all of that, the pain cuts even deeper. She blames herself immediately. How did she not see it? How did she miss the signs? How did her son suffer this badly while she stood right there? Nikki cannot stop replaying every conversation, every missed clue, every moment she should have noticed something was wrong. The guilt settles heavily on her shoulders, and for a woman who already carries so much emotional history, it becomes almost unbearable. She needs someone who understands. That person turns out to be Jack Abbott. Jack has his own complicated history with addiction, and because of that he becomes someone Nikki can talk to without explanation. He does not offer empty comfort or simple solutions. He listens, he understands, he knows that recovery is messy and painful and never as simple as people want it to be. As Nikki opens up about her fears for Nick, something shifts between her and Jack. There is comfort there. Familiarity. A dangerous kind of emotional closeness. And that timing could not be more complicated. Because Nikki and Jack are already preparing to play a very risky game. In an effort to shake things up in their marriages, Nikki and Jack are planning to pretend they are falling in love again. The goal is simple on paper: make Victor Newman and Diane Abbott jealous enough to confront their own feelings and fight for their marriages. It sounds clever, maybe even harmless, but emotions are rarely that simple. Pretending to be close with someone you once loved can stir up feelings nobody expected. Shared history has a way of reopening doors people thought were locked forever, and when pain, vulnerability, and old chemistry collide, the line between performance and reality can disappear fast. Victor Newman is not a man who reacts lightly to anything involving Nikki. No matter how many battles they have fought, no matter how many times their marriage has been tested, Nikki remains the center of his emotional world. Seeing her grow closer to Jack will not sit well with him. Victor may pretend indifference at first, he may act like he sees through the game. But jealousy has a way of exposing truth, especially when it comes to Nikki. Diane, on the other hand, will likely respond very differently. She knows Jack's heart better than most, and she also knows how dangerous nostalgia can be. Watching Jack spend time with Nikki, especially during an emotional crisis involving Nick, could trigger insecurities Diane has worked hard to bury. What starts as a strategic charade may quickly become something much harder to control. Still, Nick's crisis may do something unexpected. It may soften Victor and Nikki toward each other. Whatever issues exist between them, they are still parents first, and when their son is in trouble, everything else becomes secondary. For once, there may be no power games, no manipulation, no pride. Just two parents terrified for their child. Victor and Nikki may not agree on everything, but they will agree on this: they will do whatever it takes to help Nick rebuild his life. And while one crisis unfolds in public, another danger is growing quietly in the shadows. Sienna Bacall keeps insisting that Matt Clark is gone. She claims he is dead, she insists the threat is over, she pushes the story with enough confidence that most people want to believe it. But deep down, too many questions remain unanswered. Because Matt Clark is not the kind of man who disappears quietly. He is dangerous, calculating, and obsessed with revenge. A man like that does not simply vanish without leaving chaos behind. The more Sienna insists the story is finished, the more suspicious it begins to feel. There is a growing sense that this is not over. That Matt survived. That he is watching, waiting, planning. If that is true, then the Newman family is still in serious danger, and Sienna may know far more than she is admitting. For Noah Newman, that possibility could change everything. After the nightmare in Las Vegas, Noah wants peace, he wants stability, he wants a future that feels normal again, and right now he sees that future with Sienna. Their connection has deepened through crisis, and both of them seem ready for a fresh start. Instead of focusing on fear, they begin looking ahead. One idea quickly becomes the center of that hope. A new version of the Shadow Room in Genoa City. For Noah and Sienna, rebuilding the club represents more than business. It represents second chances, a shared project, a new beginning away from all the darkness that has followed them. For a little while, it gives them something to believe in. Something hopeful. But hope built on secrets rarely lasts. If Sienna is hiding the truth about Matt's survival, her relationship with Noah is standing on very fragile ground. Trust matters more than anything to Noah, especially after everything he has been through. If he discovers that Sienna protected Matt, lied about him, or kept dangerous secrets that put people at risk, the damage may be impossible to repair. Love can survive many things. Betrayal is harder. And if that relationship falls apart, someone else will be ready to step in immediately. Audra Charles has not forgotten Noah. Not even close. She would welcome another chance with him, and she has no intention of pretending otherwise. Audra watches carefully, waiting for the first crack in Noah and Sienna's relationship. She knows timing is everything, and she is patient when she wants something badly enough. The second Sienna makes a mistake, Audra will be there. Ready. Smiling. Prepared to turn heartbreak into opportunity. That is exactly how Audra operates. She does not wait for doors to open, she finds the weak spot and pushes. And Noah may not even realize how close she is until it is too late. Meanwhile, another complicated connection begins heating up elsewhere. Holden Novick and Claire Newman are spending more and more time together, and what began as a simple reconnection is starting to feel like something far more dangerous. There is history there. Unfinished feelings. The kind of emotional pull that never fully disappears no matter how much time passes. Claire has been trying to move forward, trying to build something stable and healthy, but history can be seductive, especially when it comes wrapped in familiarity. Holden understands parts of Claire's past that others do not. That creates intimacy, it creates comfort, it also creates temptation. The more time they spend together, the harder it becomes to ignore what still exists between them. At some point, emotional closeness could easily turn physical. And once that line is crossed, there may be no easy way back. The danger with people like Holden is never just romance, it is memory. He reminds Claire of versions of herself she has tried to leave behind, messier versions, reckless versions, the woman she was before she started trying so hard to become someone stronger. Around him, those walls weaken. Around him, she does not have to explain every contradiction inside her. That kind of connection can be intoxicating. And Holden knows it. He is careful, never pushing too hard, never asking for too much too fast. Instead, he lets the closeness build naturally. Shared conversations turn longer, quiet glances last a little too long, the air between them changes until even silence feels loaded. Claire tells herself it means nothing. But people rarely need to explain what truly means nothing. Sooner or later, she may find herself crossing a line she swore she would never cross again. And if that happens, the fallout could spread far beyond just the two of them. Elsewhere, another family is facing life and death in a much more literal way. Kane Ashby has thrown himself completely into supporting Lily Winters as Malcolm Winters prepares for a life-saving medical procedure. Every detail matters, every hour feels heavy with uncertainty, when someone you love is preparing for something that serious, ordinary life disappears. Priorities become painfully simple. You focus on survival. You focus on hope. You focus on not imagining the worst. For Lily, the emotional weight is enormous. Malcolm is family, and the possibility of losing him is something she refuses to fully let herself think about. Still, fear has a way of slipping in through the cracks, especially late at night when distractions disappear. That is where Kane becomes most important. Not with grand speeches or dramatic promises, but with consistency. He shows up. He helps with appointments, planning, and the endless details nobody sees. He makes sure Lily eats when stress makes her forget. He stays when silence feels easier than conversation. He becomes the steady presence she can lean on when everything else feels uncertain. Sometimes love is not in declarations. Sometimes it is simply in staying. That quiet support strengthens the bond between them in ways neither of them can ignore. Shared crisis has a way of stripping relationships down to what is real, and what remains between Kane and Lily feels stronger than ever. While one couple grows closer through fear, another is standing on the edge of something bright and exciting. Billy Abbott and Sally Spectra are entering a new chapter, and for once, it feels like happiness might actually be winning. Billy's marriage proposal changed everything. For Sally, saying yes would mean more than accepting a ring. It would mean believing that stability is possible. It would mean trusting that love does not always have to end in disaster. It would mean letting herself imagine a future instead of constantly preparing for heartbreak. That is not easy for someone like Sally. She has been burned too many times. She has learned the hard way that promises can disappear overnight. Even when love feels real, fear lingers in the background, whispering that happiness never lasts. But Billy makes her want to believe. He is flawed, impulsive, and far from perfect, but with Sally there is honesty, there is passion, there is the feeling that maybe both of them are finally tired of running from what they want. If she accepts his proposal, the engagement news will spread through Genoa City fast. People will talk. Some will celebrate. Others will quietly wait for the inevitable disaster they assume must be coming. Because when it comes to Billy Abbott, people are rarely optimistic for long. Still, Billy and Sally may decide to protect one part of their happiness for a little while longer. The pregnancy. That secret changes everything. It raises the stakes of every decision. Marriage is one thing, parenthood is another entirely. Suddenly, every plan matters more, every risk feels bigger, every fight carries more weight. For now, they may choose to keep that news private. Not because they are ashamed, but because sometimes joy feels safer when it is still yours alone, before the opinions, before the pressure, before the world starts touching it. They can share engagement news, wedding plans, smiles and celebrations. But the baby, that may stay protected just a little longer. Inside that private bubble, Billy and Sally get to imagine the future on their own terms. A wedding, a family, a fresh start. For two people who have spent so much time surrounded by chaos, that dream feels almost unreal. Of course, Genoa City has never been kind to peaceful dreams. Secrets surface. Old enemies returns. Love triangles explode. And happiness has a way of attracting trouble. No one understands that better than the Newmans. Even as Nick takes the terrifying first steps toward recovery, even as Nikki and Victor try to hold their family together, the shadow of Matt Clark refuses to fully disappear. Because the truth is simple. Matt is not done. Whether Sienna admits it or not, whether anyone wants to believe it or not, danger is still out there. A man like Matt does not let go of revenge. He studies. He waits. He chooses the perfect moment. And when everyone starts believing the nightmare is over, that is usually when it begins again. Somewhere in the quiet spaces where no one is looking, Matt is likely planning his next move. Maybe he is watching the Newmans rebuild. Maybe he is waiting for Nick's vulnerability. Maybe he is counting on Sienna's silence. Whatever the truth is, one thing remains certain: fake peace is often more dangerous than open war. That is what makes the coming days so explosive. Every storyline is connected by the same fragile thread: trust. Can Nick trust himself enough to recover? Can Nikki and Victor trust that their family can survive this? Can Jack and Nikki pretend feelings without creating real ones? Can Noah trust Sienna if Matt is still alive? Can Claire resist the pull of old temptation? Can Billy and Sally protect happiness without fear destroying it first? In Genoa City, trust is never simple. It is tested constantly. Sometimes it survives. Sometimes it shatters. And when it breaks, the consequences echo through everyone's lives. As the week unfolds, lives will change in ways nobody can fully predict. Nick's recovery journey may become the emotional center of the Newman family. Nikki and Victor may find themselves standing together again, if only for their son. Jack and Diane's marriage may face new cracks. Audra may move closer to the opportunity she has been waiting for. Claire may step into dangerous emotional territory with Holden. Kane and Lily may rediscover the strength of true partnership. Billy and Sally may step boldly into the future while secretly protecting the most important news of all. And over all of it hangs the same quiet warning. Matt Clark is not finished. The storm everyone thinks has passed may only be the beginning. Because in the young and the restless, peace is temporary, secrets are never buried for long, and the people you love most are often the ones standing closest when everything falls apart. For now, Genoa City keeps moving. People fall in love. People make promises. People lie. People forgive. And somewhere in the middle of all of that, people fight desperately for second chances. Some will find them. Some will lose everything trying. But one thing is certain: the week of May 4th through May 8th will leave no one untouched. By the time it ends, relationships will be tested, alliances will shift, and the future will look very different than anyone expected. Because sometimes the most dangerous battles are not the ones fought with enemies. They are the ones fought inside yourself. And for Nick Newman, that battle is only just beginning.